Welcome, dear listener, to Mindleapic. Before we begin, settle yourself gently into your resting place. If it feels right, you may like this story. Subscribe to the channel and softly press the bell icon, so these quiet moments can return to you whenever night falls. And as you relax, you might gently wonder where you are listening from tonight. Perhaps a familiar city or a distant country, resting quietly somewhere in the world. There is no need to answer aloud. Just let the thought drift through you, slow and easy, like a passing cloud. Now, allow your breathing to soften. Inhale slowly and exhale without effort. With each breath, the day loosens its grip, and your body grows heavier, calmer, and ready for rest. We begin in a time long ago, among old stone hills that rise gently from the land, rounded by centuries of wind and weather. These hills do not hurry. They have watched seasons come and go for hundreds of years, and tonight they hold a monastery within their quiet embrace. The monastery rests as if it has always belonged here. Thick stone walls, pale and weathered, stand firm and unmoving. The stones are cool and smooth, laid carefully by hands long gone, each one resting patiently upon the next. There is no sound of conflict here, no urgency, no sharp edges to disturb the peace, only stillness and the slow passing of evening into night. A narrow path winds toward the entrance, made of flattened stones, worn down by countless gentle footsteps. The path curves softly, never straight, as if it prefers to take its time. Along its edges, small patches of grass sway lightly in the evening air. The breeze is mild, barely noticeable, just enough to stir the scent of earth and old leaves. As you imagine walking this path, your steps are unhurried. There is nowhere else to be, no task waiting, no voice calling you forward. The monastery will remain exactly where it is, calm and patient, as it has been for generations. Above, the sky begins to deepen in color. Pale blue fades into soft gray, then into a darker, gentler shade. Clouds drift slowly, stretched thin, as if they too are growing tired. The first faint stars begin to appear, one by one, never rushing, never demanding attention. Inside the monastery walls, the air is cool and steady. The stone corridors are long and simple, lit by small pools of candlelight. Each candle burns quietly, its flame steady, casting soft shadows that move almost too slowly to notice. The light touches the walls, revealing subtle textures, tiny grooves, faint marks, the quiet memory of time. Footsteps are rare here. When they do occur, they are soft, measured, respectful, sandaled. Feet brush against stone floors that have been smoothed by years of calm routine. No one speaks loudly. No one needs to. Silence is not empty here. It is full, gentle, and comforting. A wooden door stands slightly open, leading into a small chamber. Inside, a simple table rests near the wall. Upon it lies a folded cloth, a clay cup, and a single book with a worn leather cover. The book has been read many times, its pages turned slowly, carefully, always with patience. Tonight it rests, just as you do. The scent of beeswax and old wood fills the room. It is a familiar scent, steady and grounding. The walls hold warmth from the day, releasing it slowly into the cool evening air. Nothing changes quickly here. Everything happens at its own pace. Somewhere deeper within the monastery, a bell has already rung its final call for the evening. Not loud, not sharp, but low and gentle. Its sound has faded now, leaving only a lingering sense of order and calm, like ripples settling on still water. Outside again, the stone hills darken further, their shapes becoming softer, less defined. They do not need to be seen clearly. They are simply there, reliable and quiet. The grass grows still. The breeze slows. Even the insects seem to pause, as if listening to the deepening silence. Back within the walls, a narrow window frames the sky. Through it, moonlight begins to spill, faint and silvery. It rests on the floor in a pale rectangle, unmoving. Dust motes drift lazily through the light, rising and falling without pattern, without purpose. You may notice your breathing has slowed now. In and out, each breath carries you deeper into this stillness. The monastery does not demand attention. It does not tell stories of great events or dramatic moments. Instead, it offers something simpler, a sense of continuity, of days flowing gently into nights, and nights into days, without disruption. In a distant corner, shelves line a small alcove. Clay jars sit neatly arranged, each labeled in careful script. They contain dried herbs, grains, and seeds, prepared long ago and replenished quietly over time. There is comfort in knowing that everything has its place, and that nothing is in a hurry. The floor beneath feels solid, dependable. It has supported countless moments of quiet reflection, of slow movement, of restful pauses just like this one. If stone could remember, it would remember calm. As night settles more fully, the candle flames lower slightly, responding to the cooler air. Shadows stretch and soften. The monastery seems to breathe, slow and steady, in harmony with the land around it. There is nothing you need to do here, nothing to solve, nothing to anticipate. Just remain, gently present, as this peaceful place holds you. The old stone hills stand guard through the night, unchanged, unbothered, and within their shelter, the monastery rests, wrapped in silence, waiting for sleep to deepen naturally, slowly, kindly. Your thoughts may begin to wander now, drifting like those dust motes in the moonlight. That is perfectly fine. Let them move without effort. Let them fade when they are ready. Everything here is safe. Everything here is calm. And the night continues, unbroken. Hello, dear friends. Today, let's make a chocolate cake. First, prepare flour, cocoa powder, baking powder, salt, eggs, butter, and other ingredients. Mix them together and knead them into a fine dough. Next, let the dough rise until it becomes fluffy and soft. Then, scoop the cake batter into a baking pan and add the pre-made stuff. Finally, when the sweet cake comes out of the oven, exuding its tempting aroma, everyone gathers around to enjoy it together. The joy in their hearts is hard to express in words. Come and try making your own chocolate cake. Night has now fully settled around the monastery, and the darkness feels thick yet gentle, like a soft blanket laid carefully over the land. The old stone hills no longer show their shapes clearly, but their presence is still felt, steady and reassuring, as if they are quietly breathing along with the earth. Nothing stirs suddenly, nothing asks for attention. Time moves here in long, smooth stretches, almost unnoticed. Inside the monastery, the corridors feel even quieter than before. The stone walls seem to draw the silence inward, holding it close. Candlelight remains, though fewer flames are lit now. Each one burns slowly, patiently, creating a rhythm of light and shadow that never changes quickly. The air carries a faint coolness, balanced by the warmth of the stone beneath and around it. A long hallway stretches forward, simple and narrow. Along one side, small wooden doors rest closed, each leading to a modest cell. Behind these doors are plain rooms, each with a bed of straw and cloth, a small table, and perhaps a shelf or two. Everything inside is arranged with care, not for beauty, but for calm usefulness. Nothing extra, nothing missing. The beds remain undisturbed now. The linens are smooth, folded neatly, waiting without expectation. They do not rush the night. They simply remain ready. The stillness in these rooms is complete, as if even thoughts have learned to speak more softly here. Somewhere within the building, water rests quietly in a clay basin. Earlier, it reflected candlelight in gentle ripples. Now, its surface is still, like a dark mirror. The basin sits beneath a small stone arch, carved simply without decoration. The arch does not draw attention to itself. It exists because it is needed, and that is enough. The floor beneath your imagined steps feels cool and solid. Each stone has been placed carefully, aligned slowly over many years. Walking here requires no effort. Each step falls naturally, softly, without echo. Sound seems to dissolve almost as soon as it is made. Outside, the night air grows slightly cooler, but not cold. The wind has nearly stopped, and the grass lies quiet against the earth. A faint scent of stone, soil, and distant pine drifts through the open spaces. It is a scent that does not change, one that feels familiar even if you have never known it before. The sky above the hills is now darker, the stars more numerous. They shine without flicker, steady and distant. They do not compete for attention. They simply remain, quiet witnesses to another peaceful night. Within the monastery walls, time feels different. There are no clocks here, no urgent signals, only the slow awareness of evening deepening into rest. The candles continue their gentle work, shortening almost imperceptibly. Wax gathers at their bases, forming soft shapes that will harden by morning. In a small common room, a wooden bench rests against the wall. Its surface is smooth from years of use. Many have sat here before, not to speak loudly or argue, but to rest, to read quietly, or to simply sit in silence. Tonight, the bench is empty, yet it feels full of calm presence. A single window nearby allows moonlight to slip inside. The light falls across the floor in a pale line, unmoving. Dust drifts slowly through it, rising and falling in no particular direction. Watching it requires no focus. It is enough to know it is there. Your breathing may feel slower now, deeper, more even, in and out. Each breath blends with the rhythm of this place. Nothing changes abruptly. The monastery holds its shape, its purpose, its stillness. The walls do not creak. The doors do not swing. Everything rests where it belongs. Far beyond the hills, the world continues in ways that do not reach here. That distant movement feels unimportant now, softened by space and time. Here, within these walls, there is only this quiet night, unfolding exactly as it should. The calm grows heavier, like a gentle weight, grounding and secure. Thoughts drift more slowly, if they drift at all. There is no need to hold on to them. They can pass freely, like clouds moving across the darkened sky. The monastery remains awake only in the most minimal sense, a presence without effort, a shelter without demand. Stone, wood, light, and air, all existing together in balanced stillness. And as the night continues its quiet journey, everything remains calm, unchanged, and at rest, inviting you to sink deeper into this peaceful, unbroken flow of time. The night continues without interruption, flowing onward in a smooth and unbroken way. The monastery rests as it always has, settled into the quiet rhythm of darkness and gentle rest. There is no signal to mark the passing of minutes, no sound to divide one moment from the next. Time here feels wide and soft, stretching comfortably in every direction. Within the thick stone walls, the air remains cool and steady. It does not shift suddenly. It does not surprise. It simply exists, surrounding everything evenly. The faint warmth stored in the stones slowly releases itself, offering a balanced comfort that asks nothing in return. A narrow staircase curves upward toward an upper level. Its steps are shallow and worn, shaped by countless slow ascents and descents over many years. Each step fits the foot naturally, as if it remembers the calm pace of those who once walked here. No rush has ever touched these stones, and none ever will. At the top of the stairs, a small landing opens into a quiet passageway. The ceiling arches gently overhead, neither high nor low, creating a sense of shelter. A single candle rests in a simple holder along the wall. Its flame is small now, steady and patient, casting a soft halo of light that barely reaches the corners. The shadows here are gentle. They do not hide anything. They simply soften the edges of the space, making everything feel distant and calm. The walls seem to absorb the light rather than reflect it, encouraging stillness rather than movement. Beyond the passageway lies a modest room used for quiet reflection. The floor is bare stone, clean and smooth. Along one wall, a low wooden shelf holds a few carefully kept objects. A folded cloth, a small carved bowl, and a narrow book bound in dark leather. Each object has its place. Each remains untouched tonight. A wooden stool rests nearby, centered beneath the faint glow of candlelight. It stands ready, though no one sits upon it now. It does not mind waiting. It has waited many nights before, and it will wait many nights again. The silence here is deep but never heavy. It does not press inward. Instead, it opens outward, allowing space for rest. Even the faint sounds of the building settling into the night are barely noticeable, as if the monastery itself has learned to move gently. Outside, the hills remain still under the wide sky. The moon has risen higher now, its light spreading thinly across the landscape. It touches the slopes and ridges without altering them, revealing nothing new, only reminding the land of its quiet presence. Far away, an owl may pass silently through the darkness, unseen and unheard. If it does, it leaves no trace. The night accepts everything without comment. Back inside, the corridors remain empty. Doors stay closed, not locked, simply resting. The wood is aged and smooth, marked by time but well cared for. Each door fits its frame perfectly, as if shaped slowly to match it. The floor stones beneath feel cool and grounding. They offer stability, a reminder that everything here is supported, held, and secure. There is no sense of imbalance. Everything aligns naturally. Your breathing may feel even slower now. In and out. Each breath seems to take its time, arriving and leaving without effort. The candle flame flickers once, then steadies again. Wax continues to melt and gather, drop by quiet drop, forming small shapes that will remain until morning light returns. Nothing disturbs this simple process. Somewhere lower in the building, a thick wooden beam stretches across the ceiling. It was placed there long ago, lifted and settled carefully into position. It has not moved since. It supports the structure without complaint, without strain. The monastery feels complete, whole, exactly as it should be. There is no need for change, no expectation of activity, just presence. The night deepens further, though it feels much the same as before. Darkness here does not grow heavy, it grows soft. It smooths away sharp thoughts and restless edges, leaving only a sense of quiet continuity. If your thoughts wander, they do so slowly now, drifting without urgency. You do not need to follow them. They will settle on their own. Everything remains calm. Everything remains still. And the night continues, gently and endlessly, holding you in its quiet flow. The monastery remains settled in the center of the night, unchanged and undisturbed. Darkness here feels familiar now, like a well-known presence that asks nothing and offers calm in return. The hours drift forward without announcement, each one blending gently into the next. Along the outer wall, a narrow cloister wraps around a small, open courtyard. Stone columns rise at even intervals, their surfaces smooth and cool. The arches above them curve slowly, creating a repeating pattern that feels steady and reassuring. Moonlight slips between the columns, laying soft bands of pale light across the stone floor. The courtyard itself is quiet and still. At its center, a simple garden rests in darkness. Low herbs grow in tidy rows, their leaves barely moving in the night air. The scent they release is faint and calming, carried gently through the cloister without effort. A small stone basin stands nearby, collecting rainwater when the weather allows. Tonight, its surface is dark and perfectly still. The stones underfoot are slightly cooler here, having been opened to the night sky. They hold the memory of the day's warmth, but only just. Walking across them feels grounding, steady, as if the earth itself is offering support. Above, the sky stretches wide and quiet. Stars remain scattered gently across it, unchanged in their slow patterns. They do not blink or hurry. They simply shine, distant and calm, as they have for countless nights before. Back inside, the inner rooms remain hushed. A long wooden table sits in one hall, its surface clean and bare. Earlier, it may have held bowls or simple bread, but now it rests empty, content in its stillness. Benches line either side, pushed neatly inward, waiting without expectation. The walls here are plain, their stone surfaces left mostly untouched by decoration. Small imperfections catch the candlelight, creating subtle textures that soften the space. Nothing here draws the eye sharply. Everything invites rest. In a nearby corner, a tall candle burns lower now. Its flame leans slightly, responding to a faint movement of air, then straightens again. The wick glows softly, steady and patient. Wax has formed gentle curves along the side, frozen in quiet motion. Your body may feel heavier now, more settled. Your breath moves slowly, in and out. The rhythm is calm and predictable, like the repetition of arches in the cloister or the steady placement of stones in the walls. The monastery does not sleep in the way people do. It rests differently. It holds space, maintains balance, and remains present through the night. Each beam, each wall, each floor stone contributes to this quiet harmony. Somewhere within the structure, a small window remains open just enough to allow fresh air inside. It brings with it the faint scent of night grass and distant earth. The air moves gently, never enough to disturb, only enough to refresh. The rooms remain dim but comforting. Shadows rest in corners, soft and unchanging. They do not shift suddenly. They simply remain where they are, content. Outside, the hills continue their silent watch. They have seen many nights like this, and they will see many more. This one is no different, and that sameness is comforting. There is no need for anything new. Thoughts may become slower now, less defined. They may drift without form, like mist moving across the ground. You do not need to hold them. You can let them pass as easily as they arrive. The night deepens, yet nothing grows tense or heavy. Darkness here is gentle, like a quiet companion. The monastery remains exactly as it was moments ago, steady and calm. Everything feels supported. Everything feels safe. And the slow, peaceful hours continue to unfold, one after another, without effort, without change, guiding you gently further into rest. The night settles even more deeply now. Though the change is so gradual, it is barely noticed. The monastery continues to rest within the old stone hills, held gently by the land around it. Silence has become familiar, almost comforting, like a soft fabric that wraps around every space and surface. Within the cloister, the pale moonlight has shifted slightly, sliding across the stone floor without sound. The columns remain unchanged, standing in their quiet sequence, each one similar to the next, each one dependable. The arches above them repeat their gentle curves, creating a rhythm that feels endless and soothing. The small garden in the courtyard remains still. Leaves rest quietly, untouched by wind. The soil holds the warmth of the day just beneath its surface, releasing it slowly into the night. Nothing grows quickly here. Everything follows its own calm cycle, steady and unhurried. Inside the monastery, the air feels settled, neither warm nor cold. It rests against the skin softly, inviting stillness. The stone walls continue to release, their stored warmth at a nearly imperceptible pace, creating a sense of balance that does not change. A narrow hallway leads toward a storage room, simple and practical. The door is wooden, its grain visible in the low light. When opened earlier in the evening, it revealed shelves lined with baskets and jars, each labeled carefully. Now the door is closed again, resting in place, completing the quiet order of the space. The floor stones remain cool and smooth beneath imagined steps. Each stone fits neatly beside the next, forming a surface that feels continuous and reliable. Walking here requires no attention. The body knows how to move slowly, gently, without thought. A faint ticking sound might exist somewhere, perhaps from cooling wood or settling stone, but it blends into the background so fully that it feels like part of the silence itself. Nothing interrupts the calm. Your breathing continues its slow rhythm, in and out. Each breath feels deeper now, fuller, as if the air itself has grown softer. In a distant room, a candle has burned down to a low flame. Its light is dimmer, but still steady. Shadows stretch a little longer along the walls, smoothing the edges of the space even more. There is no urgency to replace the candle. Darkness is welcome here. The monastery feels wrapped in a kind of quiet agreement with the night. Nothing will change suddenly. Nothing unexpected will arrive. The hours will pass exactly as they should, one gentle moment at a time. Outside, the hills remain motionless. The sky above them is wide and calm, the stars fixed in their slow patterns. The moon continues its silent path, unnoticed and unremarkable as it has always been. Thoughts may now feel distant, quieter, less demanding. They may appear briefly and then drift away, leaving behind a soft emptiness that feels restful rather than hollow. The rooms, the corridors, the cloister, and the courtyard all remain in balance. Each space supports the others, forming a whole that feels complete and undisturbed. There is nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to plan, nothing you need to do. The monastery holds the night gently, and the night responds in kind. Everything continues to slow, to soften, to rest, allowing you to drift further into this calm, steady stillness. The stillness grows deeper, though it feels less like a change and more like a continuation of something already settled. The monastery remains quiet within the old stone hills, as if the night has fully accepted it, wrapping every wall and passage in a gentle, unbroken calm. Along one of the inner corridors, a small niche is carved into the stone. Inside, it rests a simple oil lamp, unlit now, its surface smooth and darkened by years of careful use. It does not need to glow at this hour. It is enough that it is there, ready, patient, and undisturbed. The ceiling above arches softly, drawing the eye forward without effort. The shape of it feels reassuring, like a sheltering hand. Light from a distant candle reaches this corridor only faintly, just enough to soften the darkness without pushing it away. The shadows here feel settled, comfortable in their place. A wooden railing lines one side of a short stairway, its surface polished by countless gentle touches. The wood is warm to the imagined hand, a contrast to the cool stone nearby. Together, wood and stone create a quiet harmony, each balancing the other. Below the stairs, a lower hall opens into a wider space. This hall is rarely used at night, yet it remains orderly and calm. The floor stretches evenly across the room, uninterrupted. The walls hold no decoration beyond their own texture, shaped slowly by time and care. The air here feels slightly heavier, richer with the scent of stone and old wood. It moves slowly, as if reluctant to disturb the peace. Breathing it in feels grounding, steady, reassuring. In the courtyard beyond, the moonlight has softened further, spreading thinly across the ground. The garden remains unchanged, its shapes barely visible now, reduced to gentle outlines. The stone basin continues to hold still water, reflecting nothing but darkness. Your breathing remains slow and even, in and out. Each breath seems to settle deeper, as if it is finding a more comfortable rhythm with every cycle. Somewhere within the monastery, a thick door rests closed. Its iron fittings are cool and silent. There is no reason for it to open now. Everything it protects is already at rest. The walls themselves seem to listen, not for sound, but for stillness. They hold it carefully, as if it were something fragile and valuable. Nothing echoes here. Sound, if it appears at all, fades almost immediately. Outside, the hills remain unchanged, their presence steady and familiar. They do not need to be seen to be known. They simply are, holding their place in the darkness. Thoughts may now feel very distant, like memories from a long time ago. They no longer ask for attention. They drift slowly, then dissolve, leaving behind a sense of quiet space. The monastery continues to exist in this gentle state, neither fully awake nor asleep, but resting in between. It asks nothing of you. It offers only calm. Everything remains safe. Everything remains slow. And the night continues, unbroken and steady, guiding you gently further into rest. The night moves onward with the same gentle steadiness, as if it has found its perfect pace and has no reason to change it. The monastery remains quietly settled, held within the old stone hills like a careful thought that never needs to be spoken aloud. Nothing shifts abruptly. Nothing interrupts the calm that has now become complete. Inside one of the deeper rooms, the air feels especially still. This room has thick walls and a low ceiling, creating a sense of closeness and shelter. The stone here holds warmth more closely, releasing it slowly, so the space feels balanced and secure. Even the darkness seems softer in this room, as though it has learned how to rest. A long wooden shelf runs along one wall. Upon it sit a few simple objects, spaced evenly, never crowded. A small clay pitcher, empty now. A folded cloth, clean and smooth. A shallow bowl, its surface slightly uneven, shaped by careful hands long ago. Each object remains exactly where it was last placed, undisturbed and patient. The floor beneath is cool and solid, offering a quiet reassurance. If you imagine standing here, there is no sense of unease. The ground feels dependable, familiar, as if it has always been ready to support you without question. The silence deepens further, though it is difficult to say how. It feels as if the quiet has layers now, each one softer than the last. Beneath the absence of sound is a sense of continuity, of time moving forward without drawing attention to itself. Your breathing continues in its slow, natural rhythm, in and out. Each breath seems to carry less effort than before, arriving and leaving as gently as possible. Somewhere far within the structure, wood rests against stone, joined carefully long ago. The join remains strong and quiet, unchanged by the passing years. Nothing creaks, nothing strains. Everything holds together in calm agreement. Outside, the sky remains dark and wide. The stars continue their distant watch, unchanging and steady. The moon's light is softer now, more diffused, touching the hills and the monastery lightly without insistence. The courtyard lies still, its stone surfaces cool and smooth. The herbs remain quiet, their scent faint but present, lingering gently in the air. Nothing stirs among them. They rest as deeply as the night allows. Thoughts may now slow even further, becoming less distinct. They may appear only as brief impressions, vague and distant, before fading again. There is no need to follow them. There is no need to hold on to them. The monastery seems to breathe with the night, slow and steady. Each space, each corridor, each room participates in this shared rhythm. There is no separation between inside and outside now, only a sense of quiet continuity. The hours pass without markers. There is no signal to announce them. They simply move forward, smooth and uninterrupted, like a calm stream flowing through darkness. Everything here remains as it should be. Nothing calls for attention. Nothing needs to be changed. And as the night continues its gentle course, the stillness deepens further, guiding you softly, steadily, into an even quieter, more restful state. The quiet remains complete, settled so fully that it feels as though the night itself has paused. The monastery rests within this pause, unchanged, held gently by the old stone hills that surround it. Nothing new arrives, nothing leaves. Everything simply continues to be. In a long, narrow room near the outer wall, a single window sits high and small. It was built that way on purpose, to allow light without distraction. Moonlight passes through it now in a thin, pale stream, touching the wall opposite before fading into shadow. The light does not move quickly. It drifts so slowly it feels almost still. The stone walls here are thick and cool. They soften the air, holding it in place. The room feels protected, quiet, and complete. No sound enters, no sound escapes. Even silence seems to slow down inside this space. A simple wooden chest rests against one wall. Its lid is closed, its surface smooth from years of gentle use. Inside are folded linens, arranged carefully long ago. They remain undisturbed, holding the faint scent of clean cloth and time. The chest does not need to be opened tonight. It waits, content. The floor stones are even and calm beneath imagined steps. Each one fits naturally beside the next, forming a surface that feels continuous and reassuring. There is no sharp edge, no uneven place to catch the attention. Everything feels steady and reliable. Your breathing continues its slow, quiet rhythm. In and out. Each breath feels deeper now, softer, as if the body has learned that it is safe to let go. Somewhere within the monastery, a candle has finally burned out. Its flame faded without sound, leaving behind only a thin trail of smoke that quickly dissolved into the air. The darkness that replaces it is gentle, never abrupt. The room accepts it easily. Outside, the hills remain still beneath the wide sky. The stars appear unchanged, distant and calm. The night air feels settled, as if it has found its final shape for these hours. The courtyard rests in near total darkness now. Shapes blend together, losing their edges. The garden is no longer clearly visible, but its presence remains, quiet and familiar. The stone basin holds its water silently, reflecting nothing. Thoughts may feel very far away now, like echoes that have already faded. There is no need to search for them. There is no need to hold on to anything at all. The monastery continues to rest, fully aligned with the night. Every wall, every beam, every quiet room shares the same slow rhythm. Nothing resists it. Everything feels steady. Everything feels calm. And the still hours continue to stretch gently onward, inviting you to sink even deeper into rest. The night now feels complete, as if it has settled into its deepest and most comfortable form. The monastery rests within this depth without effort, held securely by the old stone hills that have known many nights like this one. Nothing stirs, nothing shifts. Everything feels perfectly placed. Within the inner walls, the air is calm and unmoving. It feels balanced, neither cool nor warm, as though it has found a gentle middle ground. Breathing here feels natural and easy, requiring no thought. Each breath arrives softly and leaves just as quietly. A narrow passage leads toward a small side chamber rarely visited at this hour. The stone walls along the passage feel closer together, creating a sense of enclosure and safety. The ceiling arches low overhead, guiding the space forward in a slow, steady line. Shadows rest calmly along the edges, settled and unchanging. Inside the chamber, a low wooden table stands against the wall. Its surface is clear, smooth, and clean. The table has held many simple things over the years, yet tonight it holds nothing at all. It does not feel empty. It feels complete. A single stool rests nearby, its legs firmly planted on the stone floor. The stool does not move. It waits quietly, content in its place. The room carries the faint scent of wood and stone, a familiar and grounding combination. Your breathing continues, slow and even, in and out. Each breath seems to carry you further away from effort, further into ease. Elsewhere in the monastery, doors remain gently closed. They do not separate, they simply define space. Each room rests in its own quiet balance, contributing to the calm of the whole. Nothing presses against the silence. Nothing disturbs it. Outside, the hills remain dark and still. The sky above them feels vast and open, though unseen. The stars continue their distant presence, steady and unchanged. The night air feels settled, as if it will remain exactly this way for a long time. Thoughts now appear only faintly, if at all. They pass like soft shadows, barely forming before fading again. There is no need to follow them. There is no need to guide them. They know how to dissolve on their own. The monastery feels deeply at rest, fully aligned with the quiet hours. Stone, wood, and air exist together in a calm agreement. Nothing asks for attention. Nothing needs to be adjusted. Everything feels held. Everything feels slow. And the night continues to move forward without sound, gently drawing you deeper into stillness. The night has stretched further now, wide and gentle, folding softly over the monastery and the old stone hills. Darkness has settled completely, yet it does not feel heavy. It feels like a slow, soft weight, resting evenly across the land, holding everything in calm continuity. Every stone, every beam, every shadow participates in this quiet balance. And in this balance, you find yourself held as well. Inside, the air is steady and cool. It carries no urgency, no sharpness. It simply rests, filling the spaces between walls and floor, flowing unobtrusively into every corner. Even the faintest movement of air seems deliberate, paced to match the slowness of the night. Breathing here requires no effort. Inhaling is natural. Exhaling is effortless. In a long, narrow room toward the western wing, a low table rests against the wall. Its surface is smooth, worn gently by time, with faint scratches from long ago use softened by age. Upon it sits a folded cloth, and nearby, a small clay cup remains untouched. Nothing here demands attention. Nothing here interrupts the quiet. The objects simply exist, as do you, calmly present. The floor beneath is cold and solid. Each stone is carefully placed, fitted to its neighbor, creating a sense of continuity that spreads through every step. Walking along it would be smooth and easy, each footfall slow and deliberate. And even if you do not move, you can feel the steadiness beneath you, grounding you softly. Your breathing is slow and gentle now, in and out. Each cycle deepens the sense of calm, drawing the body and mind further into the rhythm of the night. There is no hurry. There is no pressure. There is only the steady flow of presence, steady and continuous. In another corridor, a single candle burns lower. Its light spreads thinly across the floor, touching the stone just enough to soften the shadows without drawing them out sharply. The flame leans occasionally, responding to a barely perceptible draft, and then straightens again, patient and unhurried. Wax has gathered along the edges, frozen in gentle curves, a small, quiet reminder of slow passage. The halls are empty, yet they feel inhabited. They feel filled with the memory of countless quiet nights, gentle footsteps, and soft breath. The monastery has absorbed them all, and now it offers their calm back. Like a blanket that stretches over everything, outside, the hills are dark and shapeless in the night. Their outlines are softened by distance and shadow. The sky above is a deep, soft black, dotted with faint stars that remain constant, never flickering too sharply. The moon continues its slow, patient course, spilling just enough light to touch the tops of the hills and the edges of the stone walls, without breaking the hush of night. The courtyard remains calm, its stone surfaces smooth and still. The garden blends into the darkness, no longer sharply defined, yet still present. Herbs and small plants exhale a faint, grounding scent that drifts lightly into the open spaces. The water in the basin sits undisturbed, reflecting the night's quiet without ripple. Thoughts may appear now as distant clouds, barely noticeable, fading almost as quickly as they arrive. There is no need to follow them, no need to hold them. You may let them pass freely, drifting like shadows dissolving into the night. The monastery itself continues to rest without effort. Each wall, each beam, each room contributes to the steady flow of calm, holding space for the slow passage of hours. Nothing disturbs this harmony. Nothing demands change. Everything is exactly as it should be. Everything remains safe. Everything remains slow. And the night moves onward in gentle, unbroken continuity, guiding you further into the quiet folds of sleep. The night has stretched even further now, flowing smoothly and endlessly around the monastery and the old stone hills. Darkness is complete, but it is not heavy or oppressive. It rests lightly, softly, like a gentle veil over everything. The hills seem to lean quietly into the night, their forms softened, unmoving, and patient. The monastery remains nestled among them, silent, still, and calm. Inside, the air holds its quiet temperature evenly. It is neither cool nor warm, only steady, holding the space together. Every breath drawn here feels natural and unforced. Inhaling brings calm. Exhaling releases what little tension remains, even the faintest flicker of alertness dissolving into the stillness. A narrow hall stretches to a small, seldom used chamber. The floor is smooth stone, even underfoot. The walls thick and protective. Light from a distant candle flows softly along the corridor, brushing against the arches and columns with quiet gentleness. Shadows form delicate patterns along the walls, soft, unhurried, and restful to observe. Inside the chamber, a low table stands against one wall. Its surface is bare, smooth, and worn by long use. On the table rests a folded cloth and a small clay cup. Nothing disturbs their place. The objects are exactly where they were set, remaining patient and silent. The space itself seems to breathe with calm continuity. The ceiling arches above softly, guiding the gaze without insistence. Each curve is gentle, familiar, and reassuring. The walls, cool and steady, release their stored warmth slowly, touching the air with a barely perceptible comfort. The room has no urgency. It does not speak. It exists in quiet balance. Your breathing continues its slow, even rhythm. In and out, with each exhale, your body softens, surrendering further to this gentle, unbroken stillness. In another part of the monastery, a candle flame leans once in a faint draft, then steadies again. Its wax pools in gentle curves, frozen in place. The shadows it casts move slowly and lightly across the walls. The dim light brings no urgency, no sharpness, only soft shapes that invite rest. The floors, beams, and walls of the monastery seem to carry memory without weight. Every stone has supported countless nights just like this one. Every arch and column has seen the passage of quiet hours, gentle footsteps, and soft whispers that may have once accompanied evening prayers. That history is present, but it is calm, a soft continuity rather than a story demanding attention. Outside, the hills remain dark and unbroken, their edges softened by the night. The stars continue their quiet, distant glow, fixed in the sky without flicker or hurry. The moon moves slowly along its arc, spilling silvery light that touches stone and earth without urgency. Its glow rests across the monastery's roof and courtyard, illuminating the shapes gently with no sharp contrast. The courtyard itself remains still. The stone paths are cool and even. The garden blends seamlessly into the darkness, shapes barely distinguishable, yet reassuring in their familiarity. A faint scent of herbs drifts in the air. The water in the basin remains motionless, reflecting nothing but shadow. Thoughts may appear briefly, like distant clouds, soft and pale. They do not linger. They drift away almost as soon as they arise, leaving a sense of wide, quiet space in their place. There is no need to chase them, no need to engage with them. They fade naturally, as does everything here. The monastery continues to exist in a state of patient calm. Each wall, each beam, each room contributes to the slow, steady rhythm of night. Nothing demands action. Nothing interrupts the balance. Everything is exactly as it should be. Everything remains safe. Everything remains calm. And the night continues, unbroken, flowing gently, guiding you still further into the embrace of quiet and rest. The night continues its slow, steady passage, folding gently around the monastery and the old stone hills. Darkness has grown deeper now, softening the outlines of the hills and blending the courtyard, the cloister, and the garden into one seamless, shadowed whole. The monastery rests within this quiet darkness, unmoving, patient, and calm. Nothing stirs, nothing interrupts the slow rhythm of the night. Inside, the air is even and steady, neither warm nor cool, only softly present. Every inhalation brings a sense of grounding, and every exhalation releases the faintest traces of tension or thought. The rhythm of breathing here becomes an extension of the monastery, itself unhurried, gentle, and continuous. In a long, narrow corridor, the floor stones feel solid beneath imagined steps. Each stone is set carefully next to the next, forming a surface that encourages slow, deliberate movement. The walls rise on either side, thick and cool, absorbing and softening the faint candlelight that reaches this far. Shadows rest lightly along the edges, flowing into one another like soft, dark water. A small, seldom-used chamber opens from the corridor. Inside, a low wooden table stands against the wall. Its surface is bare, smooth, and worn, holding only a folded cloth and a simple clay cup. Nothing else occupies this space. The objects remain quietly in place, as patient and still as the room itself. Above, the ceiling arches gently, softening the room's edges and creating a sense of shelter. The stone walls carry the faint memory of daytime warmth, now released slowly into the night air. Every corner, every surface, every shadow holds its place, offering reassurance and calm. Your breathing continues slow and steady. In and out, each exhale deepens your sense of calm, inviting your body and mind to settle further into the gentle rhythm of the night. In another part of the monastery, a candle burns low. Its flame leans softly, responds to the faintest movement of air, and then straightens again, steady and patient. Wax drips slowly, forming gentle curves along the sides of the candle. Frozen in quiet motion, shadows stretch along the walls, soft and unchanging, creating shapes that invite rest rather than demand attention. The halls are empty but not silent. The quiet seems alive, filled with memory and purpose. Every stone, every beam, every wooden surface has supported countless nights like this one. They carry the calm of many generations, a gentle continuity that settles around you, holding you safely. Outside, the hills are dark and still. Their edges blur softly into the night. The stars shine faintly in distant constellations, fixed and unhurried. The moon moves slowly across the sky, spilling silver light that touches the roofs, the courtyard, and the hills without breaking the night's gentle hush. The courtyard remains calm. Stone paths stretch evenly under the soft glow of moonlight. The garden blends into the darkness, its shapes soft and undefined. Herbs release a faint, grounding scent, and the water in the stone basin reflects only shadow. Thoughts may now drift like quiet clouds, appearing faintly before dissolving without effort. There is no need to follow them. They fade naturally, leaving a spacious emptiness behind, full of gentle calm. The monastery continues to rest, aligned perfectly with the night. Every room, every hall, every shadow participates in this shared rhythm. Nothing demands attention. Nothing interrupts the balance. Everything is exactly as it should be. Everything remains safe. Everything remains still. And the night carries onward, soft and unbroken, guiding you further into peaceful rest. The night deepens further, stretching wide and quiet over the monastery and the old stone hills. darkness has settled fully now, softening every contour, blending the courtyard, the cloister, and the distant hills into a seamless, gentle whole. The monastery rests within this calm, steady, and patient space. Nothing moves abruptly. Nothing demands attention. The rhythm of the night flows uninterrupted, slow and constant. Inside, the air is perfectly balanced, neither warm nor cold, only soft and even. Breathing here requires no effort. Each inhale brings calm. Each exhale releases the faintest remainder of tension. The rhythm of your breath begins to align with the quiet pulse of the monastery itself, steady, unhurried, and continuous. A narrow hall stretches into a small chamber used for quiet reflection. The stone floor is smooth beneath imagined feet, each stone fitting naturally beside the next. The walls rise steadily, solid and unmoving, absorbing the faint candlelight that drifts along the passage. Shadows rest lightly, stretching slowly, softening with each passing moment. Within the chamber, a low wooden table stands against the wall. Its surface is bare, smooth, and worn by years of gentle use. On it rests a folded cloth and a simple clay cup, both undisturbed. Everything in this space has found its place, patient and still, just as you are now. Above, the ceiling arches softly, shaping the space with gentle curves. The stone walls release their stored warmth gradually, filling the room with an even, reassuring comfort. Nothing here rushes, nothing surprises. Every corner, every object, every shadow is steady, unmoving, and complete. Your breathing continues slow and deep. In and out, each cycle of breath carries you further into the calm, drawing body and mind deeper into the rhythm of the night. Elsewhere in the monastery, a candle burns low, its flame leaning slightly in a faint current of air before straightening again. Wax drips in slow, quiet curves, frozen in stillness. Shadows on the walls shift gently, soft and unhurried, offering shapes that soothe rather than distract. The halls remain empty but alive in their quiet way. Every stone and beam carries the memory of countless nights like this one. Each surface has felt the touch of gentle footsteps, soft breaths, and long hours of quiet observation. These memories are present not as events but as calmness, a rhythm that supports every room, every corridor, every corner. Outside, the hills stand silently under the wide night sky. Their shapes are softened and rounded, held in gentle shadow. The stars glimmer faintly, fixed and distant, and the moon arcs slowly overhead, spilling a pale, silver glow across the rooftops, the courtyard, and the hills beyond. Its light is soft, unobtrusive, a quiet companion to the night's rhythm. The courtyard remains motionless. Stone paths are cool, and even beneath the faint glow of moonlight, the garden blends into the darkness, its outlines soft and reassuring. The herbs release a gentle scent, faint but grounding, and the water in the stone basin rests perfectly still, reflecting only the shadows of night. Thoughts drift now as faint, distant shapes, appearing softly and dissolving almost immediately. There is no need to follow them. There is no need to hold them. They pass naturally, leaving behind wide, quiet space, filled only with calm. The monastery continues to rest in complete alignment with the night. Every room, every corridor, every shadow participates in this gentle, slow rhythm. Nothing interrupts it. Nothing demands it to change. Everything exists exactly as it should. Everything remains safe. Everything remains calm. And the night flows onward, steady and unbroken, guiding you ever deeper into quiet, gentle rest. The night deepens further, folding softly over the monastery and the old stone hills. Darkness has become seamless, stretching across the courtyard, the cloister, and the distant hills like a soft, slow-moving blanket. The monastery rests quietly within this calm expanse, steady, unmoving, and patient. Nothing stirs, nothing demands attention. The rhythm of night flows gently, continuously, without interruption. Inside, the air is perfectly even, neither warm nor cold, only soft and still. Breathing here is effortless. Each inhale brings grounding. Each exhale releases the last threads of tension or alertness. The rhythm of your breath blends with the slow pulse of the monastery itself. Steady, unhurried, and continuous. A narrow corridor stretches into a chamber seldom used at this hour. The floor stones are cool and smooth beneath imagined steps. Each stone is carefully set beside the next, forming a solid, reassuring surface. The walls rise steadily, thick and unmoving, absorbing the faint candlelight that drifts along the passage. Shadows rest lightly, shifting only gradually, softening each curve and corner. Inside the chamber, a low wooden table rests against the wall. Its surface is smooth, worn by gentle use over countless nights. Upon it lie a folded cloth and a small clay cup, each undisturbed and perfectly still. The room itself seems to breathe slowly with the night, its calm presence wrapping gently around everything inside it. The ceiling arches softly above, creating a quiet sense of shelter. The stone walls release their stored warmth gradually, filling the room with a gentle, even comfort. There is no rush here. There is no change. Every corner, every shadow, every object rests exactly where it belongs. Your breathing remains slow and even. In and out, each breath deepens your relaxation, letting your body and mind sink further into the stillness that surrounds you. Elsewhere in the monastery, a candle burns low. Its flame leans slightly, responding to the faintest current of air, and then straightens again, steady and patient. Wax drips slowly in gentle curves, frozen in quiet motion. Shadows on the walls shift imperceptibly, soft and unhurried, inviting rest and calm observation. The halls are empty, but not lifeless. Every stone, every beam, every wooden surface carries the memory of countless nights like this one. Footsteps, soft voices, and the faint rustle of cloth long ago have left a calm energy here, a rhythm that supports every corner of the building. Outside, the hills remain dark and quiet beneath the wide night sky. Their edges are softened by shadow, held in patient stillness. Stars remain faint, distant, and unchanging. The moon arcs slowly above, spilling silver light across rooftops and stone paths, illuminating shapes gently without disturbing the calm. The courtyard lies motionless. Stone paths are cool and even. The garden has softened into darkness, shapes indistinct yet reassuring. Herbs release a faint, grounding scent, and the water in the basin remains completely still, reflecting only shadow. Thoughts drift faintly now, like distant clouds dissolving slowly into the night. There is no need to follow them, no need to hold them. They pass naturally, leaving space filled with quiet, gentle calm. The monastery continues to rest, perfectly aligned with the night. Every room, every corridor, every shadow participates in the gentle rhythm. Nothing interrupts it. Nothing demands change. Everything exists exactly as it should. Everything remains safe. Everything remains calm. And the night moves onward, soft, steady, and unbroken. guiding you closer to complete, peaceful rest. Now the night has fully unfolded, deep and endless, wrapping the monastery and the old stone hills in a calm, gentle darkness. Every corner of the building, every stone in the walls, every wooden beam rests completely still. Nothing stirs, nothing interrupts the quiet. The rhythm of the night is slow, steady, and unbroken, carrying everything softly toward stillness. Inside, the air is smooth and even, soft against the skin. It moves imperceptibly, touching every room with the same gentle calm. Breathing here is natural, effortless, steady. Each inhale brings a sense of grounding. Each exhale releases every last thread of thought, worry, or tension. The body, the mind, the space, all flow together in quiet alignment. In the long corridors, shadows rest without motion. Candlelight is minimal now, almost faded, leaning toward darkness. Where light remains, it stretches across the floors in thin, soft lines, softening the edges of walls, doors, and arches. Everything blends gently into quiet shadow. The rooms are completely still. Tables, chairs, folded cloths, small clay cups, low beds, all remain exactly as they have been. Nothing moves, nothing calls for attention. The spaces themselves seem to breathe slowly, evenly, in perfect rhythm with the night. Your breathing is slow and even, in and out. Each cycle takes you deeper, further into the calm, further into the sense of being held and supported by the stillness around you. The courtyard lies silent beneath the moon's soft glow. Stone paths are cool and even. The garden is a dark, quiet presence, its herbs releasing a faint, grounding scent. The water in the stone basin rests undisturbed, reflecting only shadow. The hills beyond remain dark, their edges softened by distance and night. The stars are distant and constant, shining quietly without disturbance. Thoughts, if they appear at all, are soft and distant. They drift like clouds, fading gently into the night without effort. There is no need to follow them, no need to hold them. They dissolve naturally, leaving a vast space filled only with calm, gentle quiet. Every stone, every beam, every shadow in the monastery contributes to this complete stillness. The building, the night, and the hills exist together in unhurried alignment. Nothing disrupts the flow. Nothing demands attention. Everything simply is, calm, quiet, and steady. The world outside may move, but here, in this space, everything rests. Everything exists in perfect balance. You are held in this stillness, carried gently forward by the slow, endless rhythm of night. Everything remains safe. Everything remains calm. Everything remains still. And in this quiet, in this unbroken, gentle darkness, the night carries you effortlessly into rest. All around, the monastery, the hills, the shadows, the air itself settle. The calm spreads, deep and unending, and slowly, softly, you drift completely into sleep.